Logitech G309 versus the 305. Who will win? If at any point during the video you want to check out either of these mice, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's see which one is heavier. Both have a Duracell AA battery in them. As you can see, Duracell battery, we're gonna take the dongle out of the 305, but you can substantially lower the weight by either putting a lithium AA battery in there or getting a AAA adapter and then getting a AAA lithium battery. The 305 is coming in at 96.5 grams. That is a heavy weight for a small mouse. The 309, 86.2. But you have to keep in mind, it was actually, I think, 84, but we added the grip tape that comes in the box. However, that gives a pretty good comparison because that's apples to apples in terms of what you get. Still, this is lighter, but the interesting thing is the balance. When I hold this in the center and then let a little bit of pressure off, it falls very quickly backwards. With the 305, that's the same amount of pressure and it's kind of falling backwards. It's much more balanced than this is. Now, what I found in my kind of review of this is that the weight here is significantly farther back. You can see the Duracell battery, which is probably most of the weight here. It's closer to the back of the mouse. The other thing is that this bumps out in the back. As you can see, it bumps out right here, whereas the 305 kind of has a bump up here. That's the apex of the bump, whereas this one's apex is back here. It's got a fat booty. So even though this one is lighter, well, which one will actually feel lighter? So let's get in game. Starting off with the 305, jumping in right away. Both using the same DPI here. This definitely feels like a heavy mouse, especially for the size of it, but the grip is fantastic because of those flared edges, the egg shape. I'm loving it. Kind of doing a palm grip, kind of doing a minor claw grip, both at 400 DPI. I really like this mouse. This is a classic mouse. So many people use this mouse. What a wonderful shape. The skates here also, they definitely have like, it adds more stopping power, whereas this one is a little bit, they're smoother, but it's slower. It's definitely slower than this one, which makes sense because skate to skate, this one definitely has more. This one is like super smooth, and this one does cause a little bit of drag with the skates. I definitely prefer the skates on the 309. That's no question. However, I love this shape. It definitely gets wide up here, but then your fingers grab it down here. Even if you're a palm gripper like me, you're gonna end up doing like kind of a hybrid. Like I'm kind of not palming it, if you can see, but in some parts of my palm touch, I just like it though. It just works. Such a classic feel, and you can see how much tighter it gets around the bottom, and that gives you such this like easy liftoff grip, which I really like. We're switching now to the 309, baby. It's on and we're ready to go. Now, immediately, you don't have that same grip because it doesn't come in at the same angle at the bottom. It's more comfortable. Immediately though, you can feel, it does feel like a bigger mouse in hand, but it is substantially lighter, and the balance, it's so much different. The grip tape does add quite a bit of grippiness, which I really like. However, the skates are a massive improvement. The clicks are also a massive improvement here. But the clicks, let's go back and forth with those clicks. These still have really good clicks, but they're just a little bit, they're more crispy. I mean, Logitech has always had really good switches, but these are definitely really good. I'm impressed with these switches. Now, even though the 305 is heavier, I switched back. The grip here, it's easier for liftoffs, and that's the one thing that you don't get on the 309. However, that being said, I think the balance on this mouse would be exceptional with a lithium-ion battery. And I think it would completely change this mouse. However, in hand, this one does feel like a more premium mouse. The clicks and the switches are nicer. They basically have a very similar layout, right? Scroll wheel, back button there, two side buttons. Even in similar places, they're very similar size. It's just that this one has that smaller bottom. I think if this one had the smaller bottom, then it would be a better mouse. But the fact that this is lighter, well, it's a substantial difference going between the two. This one does feel lighter, but the balance, as you can see, is so much to the back that it almost feels like it was designed to have a lithium-ion battery back there. Now, for price, this one at the time of filming is $34.99. That's current pricing. Check the links below to see what actual current pricing is. It might change, but that's its pretty typical sale price. Maybe it goes up to 40 bucks. This one currently, it's much newer, and this is $59.99. Now, for $25 more, are you getting almost 50% more? Well, the skates here, significant improvement. This one is much more confidence inspiring. You don't have the drag that this one has. You're also getting lower weight, even with the normal battery. The scroll wheel here feels good. I would say the scroll wheel actually feels better on the 305. It's more tactile. I think it's probably more accurate. Side buttons, nice clicks. These are a little bit firmer, which I think is actually probably better for gaming. The added grip tape in the box is nice. And the dongle storage is funny, it goes all the way up there in this one. But the feel, it's definitely a more comfortable mouse. It's not as capable in terms of its lift off, so that makes it a little bit harder to lift off. But I'm kind of nitpicking here, but it is a really enjoyable mouse to use. If you don't mind having a heavy mouse, I would say between the two, this one's gonna win with FPS 100% of the time. And I really like it. I think this could be a great pick, but buy a lithium ion for this one. Even though this one is heavier than that one, it's not as big of a deal because of the balance. As you can see, if I go in the middle of the mouse, I'm literally letting go. Nothing happens. If I do that same thing right here, the mouse goes backwards because the weight is more towards the back. So the lithium ion battery would probably push this under 70 grams, and that's a lightweight mouse. For that price you're getting a Hero 25K sensor in this, that's a solid sensor. Now, I bet this thing right here is for wireless charging, but let's see if it actually changes the weight here. So with it, 86 grams on the DAT. Without it, 84.6. That's 1.3 grams. It doesn't really feel that much different, but I gotta say, it is definitely better because of the lower weight, and it's a more comfortable grip. I kind of have mixed feelings because I really love the way that it comes down like that, but at the same time, it's also so solid because it doesn't, and it's so comfortable. I do find myself being a little bit more accurate with this one because those skates are just so good. The skates are really top tier, and that's the whole thing is like, if you can get a lower weight, this is gonna feel like a high-end mouse, guys. Like literally, it's gonna feel like a high-end mouse. And I mean like on the level of a G Pro X Superlight 2, yeah, a different shape for sure. And that's what you're paying for with the Superlight 2. But I mean, the clicks are solid, the build quality is really good, there's no creaks or rattles. I'm really digging this one. We're gonna switch back one more time. When you go for the lift offs, it's easier to rise it up and hold it in your hands, but then the weight gets you. But going back this time, the switches are just not as good. The switches feel way better. They have a nice initial click, they really do. The travel upwards is just much slower. It just feels sluggish almost. These click quickly, look at that. That's a quick click. But I knew that these felt a lot better, and it's because of the uptick. Uptick, these, it's like they have a slow uptick. It's still great, but I honestly didn't think I was gonna like this, and I do like it. But honestly, just leave that off. It takes a little bit of weight, and it's more towards the rear, so why not leave it off? Let's also see if we can play without the shell on, and let's see how much it weighs without the shell on. That's at 80.8 grams. And again, with the shell and the bottom plate, that's at 86.5. And honestly, gripping it like that is not super uncomfortable. Like, that's honestly not bad. And that does actually change quite a bit the balance. I know that seems a little ridiculous, but you still have this hump here. That was actually pretty comfortable, guys. Imagine if you did a AAA lithium battery in this sucker, left this off. That's a dang good mouse, guys. That's a lightweight mouse. Plus you got grip tape. Between the two, if you want one of the cheapest wireless gaming mice and you like this shape, this is a good mouse. Although most of the time for the similar-ish price, this is 35 bucks, it's hard to beat. But if it's at like 40 and above, then the Razer Orochi is usually my recommendation. But for 59 bucks, take these plates off, get yourself a lithium ion battery, and you're getting something that is really, really quite good. But again, if you want to check out either of these, there are Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But this is a consumer tech review, high speed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.